Hey, this is another video on the Oracle bow sight. This one is just a few extra tips and tricks that might help you along the way. A couple of them are really handy, and I thought I'd share them with you. One nice little trick, especially if you're shooting indoors, is it's a good idea to set the brightness level before you enter your calibration setup. Because once you're in the calibration setup for your select range 1 and select range 2, you can't change the brightness level. And the automatic brightness sometimes is a bit bright for indoor shooting. Really simple. This is how you adjust the brightness. Just find your down arrow key, your up arrow key. I want to decrease it for this indoor shooting. You can see how it goes dimmer and dimmer and yet dimmer. I like it about that dimness actually for indoor shooting. And every range can be a little different, but it's really handy to set this up ahead of time. Again, you can adjust that setting once you're in your select range 1 and select range 2, and you hate to have to go back out of it to adjust the brightness setting. You may have seen when I was displaying the brightness settings that these dots are just slightly blinking. Don't worry about that. It's doing what it's supposed to do. It's a mode that's made for twilight shooting, and you won't see those dots blinking when your eyes dilate in real low light shooting. It's hard to believe, but go check it out. Believe me, once you draw the bow back and you're trying to make a shot in low light, you won't see any blinking going on. If you don't like that, just give it one click up and boom, that little bit of blinking goes away. The range is going to stay on once you activate it for about 10 seconds, but your aiming dot's going to stay on for 90 seconds. That's a power saving function of the Oracle. But with that aiming dot, that's a 47-yard dot. It's going to stay on for 90 seconds. But let's say that you want it to be on for longer than 90 seconds. All you have to do is press the brightness level one direction or the other, and it'll stay another 90. You can hit it again, another 90, or you can rearrange. But anyway, it's just handy to know that the dot's going to stay on for 90 seconds unless you press one of those buttons, and then you can extend it for another 90 seconds. When you're in setup mode, again, your yardage is going to stay on for 10 seconds. The aiming dot's going to stay on for 90 seconds in normal mode, but in the setup mode, it's going to stay on for 30 minutes. You got all the time in the world to move this dot up and down, to go get your arrows out of the target, come back and shoot more. In fact, we really recommend that you shoot lots and lots of arrows during this trajectory setup, and you really don't have to worry about this dot going out. It won't go out for 30 minutes in the setup mode. If you're worried about it, all you have to do is move the dot up or down, and it extends that clock for another 30 minutes. So don't worry about it, just move that dot and you're good to go. Another function that the Oracle has is a fixed pin mode, okay? And there's a couple of different ways you could enter a fixed pin mode, and I'm gonna try and describe how it is that can be important for you. For starters, let's say that the Oracle can range targets between 5 yards and something like 300 or something like that. Anyway, it can't really range inside 4 yards, or at least we tell it that you're not going to shoot at something inside of 5 yards. But if it picks up something inside of 5 yards, like I'm going to aim at the ground closer than 5 yards, it gives you a fixed pin array. So the thought here is let's say you've got a deer close to you in a tree stand, and he's 15, 20 yards below you, but you've got some kind of mess between you and that deer on some leaves or twigs or something. It's picking that up. It knows that it's not 4 yards, but it gives you that pin array. So you're going to use that top 20-yard pin to shoot instead of being confused at 4 yards. Now you can enter that yourself. I showed you how it automatically enters that, but if you're ranging targets and here you've got a 29 and for some reason you don't think that it's 29 yards and you've pre-measured something, you can also just cover the rangefinder and it'll enter. Of course, my hand's closer than 4 yards, so it's going to display the default set of fixed pins. Lastly, let's say maybe you're at full draw and you can't cover the sight and you don't want to move the bow down to pick up something closer than 5 yards. All you have to do is hit the activation button like you're ranging. Okay, I've hit it, and I hit it for 3 seconds, and it'll automatically enter the fixed pin mode, and you can still take your shot. So we kind of call it a parachute feature of the sight. Here you see the bottom 4 dots lit. That means here at 100 yards, that is just beyond the capability of trajectory compensation for this bow and arrow setup. If I range the target here just inside of that at 99 yards, you got just the bottom dot. So that means that's the maximum this bow and arrow setup will go.